Come on in. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the winner's circle. How's everybody doing today? As you're coming in, let me know what is your name? Where are you tuning in from? What city or state? And if you'd like to put anything in there about your business, please share. Please share. Would love to know who's on the live right now. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna be talking about funding, right? How to get your business funded. So um, rest assured, I know people are a little nervous because they're like, oh, we're navigating, a global pandemic, um, a troubled economy, record inflation. But rest assured, they will not stop printing money anytime soon. Believe that. Okay. They will not stop printing money anytime soon. Okay. So if you are a small business owner, entrepreneur, startup, you are looking for capital for your business. Maybe you don't know where the capital is. Maybe you don't have enough people in your network to have that conversation and know how to navigate those conversations around money and funding. Whatever the case may be, right? I'm going to help you navigate that. Okay. My name is Seneca Dunmore. They call me the Pine Size Powerhouse, and I'm an international speaker and a speaker coach, right? Among other things, right? I'm an angel investor as well. So my specialty is communication, negotiation, and collaboration. And cultivation. I know how to cultivate great relationships. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to give it just one more minute so that people can come in and get settled. I should have made me some more tea, but that's okay. We won't be long. Tina from Texas. Hey, Tina. Glad to have you. Thank you for joining us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is by far my favorite social media platform, and I'll show you why in the presentation. Okay. So stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you, Tina. All right. Anybody else? Who else is on the call? Let me know who you are and what city you're tuning in from. Okay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get us all set up, make sure that we have our presentation ready. We're all set to go. And I want to be very mindful of your time. It is 5:02. And I like to be done right at an hour. So most of these sessions have been taking about 45 minutes, which is really good because I can be very long winded. So I want to make sure that I'm being mindful of your time and we end before 6 o'clock. Okay. So listen, as you're coming in, throw your name in the chat. Let me know what city and state you're tuning in from. If you want to put some information about your business in the chat as well, do that because I love to give real life scenarios, right? And give you real live feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can get this party started. And guys, as I'm presenting, if you have any questions, okay, any questions, um, please by all means, throw those questions in the chat. And as I'm going through the presentation, I'll toggle back and forth so that I can get to your questions. Okay. So make sure any questions that you have, just throw them in the chat and we'll get to them, right? I will make sure that I get to all of your questions. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. So, in this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about how I was able to secure $29,000 for my business in 1 month. Okay. And that was last year, October. And I'm just talking about business funding. I'm not talking about the money that I made in my business or any of those things. I'm just talking about the business funding that I received to grow and scale my business. Okay. And not only that, I'm going to tell you, we're going to kind of navigate and talk to the three major stumbling blocks keeping most small business owners and entrepreneurs from accessing the capital they need. The good news is most of the stumbling blocks, are fixable. It's nothing detrimental to your business, right? It's stuff that's easily fixable. And let me expand that a little bit more so y'all can see that. Sorry about that. And I'm just on my Canva. I love Canva. I don't know about y'all, but Canva is the jam. Okay. So anyway, if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you the same pitch deck that I used to secure the $29,000. And let me tell you guys this. Most people ask me, they're like, oh, Seneca, they think I gave this long presentation. They think like I had this 40-page business plan. No, I put together a simple pitch deck because I wanted to make sure that it was clear and concise because that's what investors want, right? They don't want all the smoke and mirrors. They want something that's clear and concise, something that's understandable. They want to know, what is the problem? What are your proposed solutions? Let us know what type of traction you're getting in your business already, what type of traction you're forecasting. Is this business profitable? Okay, so they're looking at those type of things. Okay. And again, this was the whole deck right here. It was 12 slides. I think it was originally 9 and then I added a couple more, but it was really simple, guys. It literally took me maybe an hour or two to create it on Canva. And then I transferred it into a PowerPoint presentation. So I will give you the same pitch deck that got me the $29,000. Now, again, my name is Seneca Dunmore. They call me the Pine Size Powerhouse. I'm an international speaker. I'm a speaker coach. I teach new and inspiring speakers uh maximize and monetize their speaking business from the ground up, right? Teaching them how to grow it from scratch. I also teach high impact professionals how to leverage professional speaking as a primary vehicle to secure funding for their business. So again, speaking, negotiation, communication is my jam, and that's really important when it comes to funding, because again, if you don't know how to communicate and articulate what it is that you do and why you do it, then funders are not interested in getting behind your business. Okay. They want to make sure that you know what you're doing and that you can easily communicate that to them. So I've been all over the world, been featured in international and national publications, but I always tell people my favorite title is servant. I am a kingdom financier, which means I have been commissioned by God to be a conduit of financial resources, to funnel the resources that people need to them. Okay. And my focus is communities of color. Right? Okay. So anyway, y'all, let me tell you, some of that funding came from the number one bank in the United States, which is JP Morgan Chase. Okay. They were actually my very first sponsors of my Access Granted conference. And that was literally last year in the middle of the pandemic. So while people were hemming and hawing and, complaining about, oh, companies don't have money, they're not giving money, they have plenty of money to give. Okay. So trust me. The next thing is that I secured $25,000 via an angel investment. And let me tell y'all guys, I found this angel investor via LinkedIn. One of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And so I approached him about funding and we worked on some things together. And a couple months later, I had the funding that I was needing. Okay. And so again, you see the arrow there when the $25,000 hit my account on October 14th. So again, I want to give you social proof of the things that I've done and the things that you can do as well. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my background because most people think, I came out of, some Ivy League school with a silver spoon in my mouth, all of that. I did not. Okay. I know most people, because I'm highly educated and I've been so many different places and done so many things and been running my business for a long time, that they think, I came from privilege, and I did not, right? I grew up in a neighborhood called Sunnyside on the southeast side of Houston, Texas. And Sunnyside was a very dangerous neighborhood. Crime, drugs were just running rampant in our neighborhood. But what I realized is that Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. It was an economically disenfranchised community. Okay. So we were deliberately kept out of the process of creating wealth. A lot of the drugs and the guns that were funneled into our community were not being brought in by us. Let's just make that very clear. Okay. So again, no matter what type of neighborhood you come out of, right? That will not keep you from the funding resources that you need. Let me tell you this: relationships are the key to advocacy, and advocacy is the key to access. Right. One of the things in my neighborhood is that we didn't have access to venture capitalists and angel investors and bankers and wealth managers who had a vested interest in seeing our community grow. They were nowhere around. Okay. And so we didn't have an opportunity to cultivate relationships with those individuals. And so now I make it my business to find those people and to cultivate relationships with them, because I realize that that is the key to advocacy. What is advocacy? Advocacy is somebody advocating for you. Advocacy is someone, co-signing for you, going to bat for you, putting in a good word for you. You want to make sure that you have people in your network who can advocate for you, so they can go in front of some of these other investors and funders and say, yeah, Tina needs that funding, you should give it to her. So I told you guys that I'm also a global philanthropist, right? Have been to many different countries. Africa is by far my favorite continent, and I've been to 5 countries so far in Africa. I've done a lot of work there. So here is a picture of me sitting with some individuals at the University of Ghana at their Institute of African Studies, right? That whole trip was paid in full through crowdfunding. So, guys, not only am I going to talk about the traditional funding resources that you can leverage, but I'm also going to talk about the non traditional resources that you can leverage through crowdfunding. Okay. Also, I did a medical mission in Luanda, Angola. Beautiful country. I would recommend if you haven't been, go. It's beautiful, very wealthy country. So I did a medical mission out there that was paid in full. I taught in South Africa. Okay. My background is in technology. So if you know anything about me, my master's is in technology. I taught in South Africa, paid in full. Okay. I also did 3 medical missions in Kenya. So I serve with a global organization where we provide, you know, health and human services to different tribes in Africa, right? So we provide humanitarian efforts. But again, guys, you are your greatest investment. By me investing in myself, in my business, it has taken me to over 45 countries, and I'm not even close to being done. Okay. I hope to visit another 45 countries in the next, 5 years. Right. Okay. So this is what I want you guys. Number one, write this down. Number one. Investors want to see proof, not potential. Investors want to see proof, not potential. What do I mean by that? Does anybody understand what I mean by that? What I mean by that is that they want to see social proof that your business is getting traction, right? That it is a fundable business, that it is a venture backable business, meaning that if they invest in your business, they can look forward to a return on their investment. Now, it doesn't mean that their return has to come quickly. Most angel investors understand that it might take a year or 2 or 3 before they see a return. But that compounding effect, right? It might take a while, but then it might just take off once it hits. So let me show you some of the proof that I have, right? So this is a young lady who I've known since I was 8 years old. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a business owner, came to me about wanting to become a more confident, compelling communicator. We worked together for about 8 weeks. And literally in her 6th week, she secured her first 6-figure contract for her business. Now, I don't know about you, but I know some people who don't even make 6 figures a year, and she made 6 figures in one contract. Okay. This is another young lady, Joy Jackson. Joy is a wife, a mother, business owner now, but she served in the corporate arena for like 15 plus years. She was released from her corporate job right when the pandemic hit, in, I believe it was what, May? And so ended up starting her own speaking and coaching business, and now she is, a best-selling author. She's been on TED Talk. I mean, just phenomenal individual. Her business is truly thriving. Okay. And then this is another individual who has now created a whole new stream of income in her business by joining my Confident Compelling Accelerator program. So again, and this is someone who was already making a nice 6-figure salary, who was already speaking internationally, right? We just transferred from being a memorable speaker to being now an unforgettable speaker. So guys, these are just some of the ways that I've been able to help people leverage their talent, skills, and abilities to generate more income in their business by way of getting that income from other people. Okay. So the next thing, you need more people with influence in your community rather than you need more people with affluence, right? You need advocates who have affluence and not just influence. Affluence meaning they have access to the financial resources that you need. And remember, I was telling you about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is by far one of my favorite places to find investors. Most of the investors that I've, now have a great relationship with, I found through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a great resource, is a great place to find the investors that you're looking for and to cultivate relationships with like a lot of the banking institutions that you bank with or that you don't bank with. Okay. So let me just give you some examples of people that I've been able to meet via LinkedIn. This is a gentleman, Padowitz Alci. He is a patent attorney for leading startups in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Incredibly brilliant individual. And so, but let me tell you, he has unicorn clients, meaning clients who are valued at over $1 billion. This is exactly the type of person You want to know, I want to know because he has a deep network and he's just a phenomenal individual himself. A wealth of information, always willing to make an introduction. These are the type of people you need in your network. This is another gentleman that I met via LinkedIn. Literally took me a whole year to get him on my stage. And both of these gentlemen were at my Access Granted conference. Okay. But he is an angel investor. He runs a fund himself. He is the impact director for a global endowment firm, manages a $4.6 billion portfolio. I mean, I don't know what else you need to hear. These are the type of people you need in your network because they have deep networks. Another thing, okay, write this down, guys. You want to volunteer where the people with the money are. Why do I say volunteer? Some of you are kind of in the phase of really growing and scaling your business, which means funds are tight, right? You might not have, a thousand, $2,000, $10,000 to invest in a program or a conference. And so let me tell you the best way to still get in the room with these individuals, even though you don't have the financial resources to make the investment. Volunteer. Use your time, use your service. Okay. It's worth more than money at the end of the day. Volunteer your time. This is how you still get in front of those wealthy individuals. And let me tell you my secret how I would do it. I would volunteer in the morning and then I would be a part of all the events in the evening. Why did I do it like that? Because in the evening is when you have, the galas and the balls and the happy hours, the networking socials, right? And so I would volunteer in the morning, right? Serve, and then I would spend my time networking with all the heavy hitters in the evening. So again, I've served with organizations like Black Enterprise, National Black MBA Association, Texas Women's Conference. Okay. So I would say shoot for gold, right? They're always looking for volunteers. They're always happy to have volunteers. So volunteer at some of these big conferences where the people with the resources are. Because again, they're going to always have these, multimillionaires, multi-billionaires talking at their conference. And guess what? You have the opportunity to meet them without having to pay so much money to get into those conferences. Any questions so far? Let me pause for a second, catch my breath, and ask, is there any questions so far? Please drop them in the chat. Okay. Any questions or comments, please drop them in the chat. And as you're doing that, let me go ahead and move on, right? So let me show you some of the individuals that I've been able to meet at some of the conferences that I volunteered at. CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, Cent Marshall, phenomenal woman, wonderful individual. Okay. I was able to meet her. Also, senior advisor to U.S. President Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett. Met her at that very same conference in Vegas. It was hosted by Black Enterprise. It was the Women of Power Summit. Kamala Harris was actually there at the time. She wasn't the VP, but she was actually there. She was one of the headliners. And then also millionaire, best-selling author, investor, Farah Gray. I don't know if you guys have met him before. Really nice individual, wealth of information, just brilliant guy. Okay. So again, I'm showing you that I was able to go as a volunteer and serve, but still get to meet the same people that everybody who paid $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 to be in that room got to meet. Okay. So I got to meet all of those individuals on my own terms. Now, let me tell you guys this: the quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. Do you understand what social capital is? Social capital is cultivating those relationships. Most people think just because they have transactional relationships, that's in a relationship. No, when it comes to money, it's got to be a little bit deeper than that. Okay. You need to start cultivating that social capital. And I'm going to show you some of the social capital that I've been able to cultivate with some of the major banks here in the United States. Okay. So the US Bank has an access fund, $30 million, right? So they are looking to deploy $30 million to 30,000 women of color micro owned business owners. And I met one of their representatives at a networking event who then became a speaker at my conference, who then became a sponsor of my conference. You see how that works? Okay. So let me tell you, when it comes to banking individuals, if you are a small business owner, right, you have a business banking account, at least you should. Okay. So that's part of when you start your business, you got to have your own business banking account. So one of my business bank accounts is with the US Bank. And I decided to partner with them because, again, I did some research. They seem like a great option. And let me tell you, they have not disappointed. Banking with them has been one of the best banking experiences. Okay. So also remember, I told y'all JP Morgan Chase was my very first conference sponsor. They have $2 billion that they're looking to deploy over the next 5 years to Black, Latina, and women owned businesses. So if you're a Black owned business, you're a Latina owned business, you're a women owned business, veteran owned business, right? You need to be talking to a representative at JP Morgan Chase. And not just talking to them, but actively cultivating a relationship with them. Because when that money comes across their table, right? Every year they've got to sit down and figure out how much funding is going out for, for social, for cultural and social responsibility, all of that. You need to have your name in the hat. You want to be top of mind when they think about who that individual is that they're going to be sponsoring or giving money to, right? Because you've cultivated a relationship with them already. I always tell people you want to start cultivating the relationship even before you need the money. So when it's time to ask for the money, it's an easy ask. The reason why most of you are scared to go in here and talk to these organizations about the funding you need is because you haven't established a relationship with them. So you're going in and talking to strangers when these people should be like, oh, I know this person. Oh, yeah, I know them. Okay. And then also PNC Bank. Okay. They have an $88 billion community development fund. 46 billion of that money is for home lending. Okay. So if you're in real estate, that money is for you. 26.5 billion of that is for small businesses. Okay. If you're a small business owner, that money is for you. 14.5 billion of that is for community development. Okay. That money is for you. You need to be talking with someone in PNC Bank, establishing a relationship with them, and asking about that community development fund. Right, $88 billion, guys. And if you're asking for what, 10, 15, 20, 100,000, that's a drop in the bucket if it's $88 billion. Okay. Now, remember, you got to remember, guys, business is a team sport. You should be in business for yourself, but you should never be in business by yourself. If you're looking to grow and scale and really go to greater heights in your business, it's going to take a team. It's going to take other people investing in your business. Now, again, you can bootstrap if you like. If you want to exhaust all your own personal funds, I would not advise anyone to do that. Okay, because there are more than enough resources out here from individuals who want to also be a blessing to you and invest in your business. But they've got to know about the business to invest in it. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you are struggling to access capital in your business? Maybe because you don't know where the capital is, maybe because you don't know how to navigate conversations around money, maybe because you didn't grow up with it. So you don't even know what questions to ask. Let me know in the chat, right? How many of you are struggling with funding? And if I could offer a resource to you that could help you navigate this space and could put you in front of the people who could help you even further advance your business by getting the financial resources that you need, would you be interested? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. And also, I'll pause for a second to how do you find the heavy hitters specific to events to volunteer? You said, how do you find the heavy hitters? Ruth, they're in the room, right? So I'll give you a prime example. When, I volunteer with Black Enterprise on many times. So I've been in the room with Byron Allen, who's a billionaire, right? I've been in the room with T.I. I've been in the room with Janice Harroy, which is a Black woman billionaire. I and I'm talking about got a chance to be in the room with them and meet these individuals. Most of them are headliners, right? And the nice thing is most of them will, be in the room. They'll circle around, they'll meet people. Okay. Listen, you want to be in that room. That's how you meet those heavy hitters. And again, the reason why, excuse me, I go to the events in the evenings is because that's when you can find most of them. When it comes to the galas, the balls, the networking, the socials, and stuff like that, they're usually at those events. That's why I always tell people volunteer in the morning, then get dressed up, right? And go mix and mingle with all the other millionaires and billionaires. I get dressed like I'm a millionaire and I go mix and mingle with them. Okay. So that's how you meet those heavy hitters. I hope I answered your question. Thank you. That was a great question. So yeah, so I would say find some organizations that you're really passionate about that host events, especially like these big conferences, Black Enterprise, there's tons of them. And get on their volunteer list. And what they do is they send out an email for volunteers every time the conferences come up. So if you're on that list, you know about it. They tell you every time, right? So you have first priorities to sign up for those conferences. Okay. All right, we're going to keep it going. So, I want to tell you guys about my third annual Access Granted Conference. Um, that's going to be here on June 16th and 17th at the Marriott Marquis Hotel, which is downtown. Okay. My Access Granted Conference is specifically for small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, and historically marginalized and economically disenfranchised community. We are giving you the financial education because most of you did not grow up, with financial literacy, neither did I. Right. We're giving you the capacity building tools because even if you are eligible for the funding, do you even have the capacity for the funding? Very important. And third, and most importantly, we're putting you in front of the individuals who have access to the funding resources you need. You can get all of the mentorship and coaching in the world, but if it's not coming with dollars at the end of the day, then what is it all for? At the end of the day, it needs to be accompanied with financial resources so that you can really grow your business, so that you can have more time for family and friends, doing the things that you love, traveling, all of those things, right? Having more money in your business is about having more freedom. Wealth is not just about money, having a lot of money. Wealth is about having a lot of options. More money in your business means more options in your personal life. Okay? So, and let me show you what you guys get when you sign up for my Access Granted Conference. You're going to get a welcome package from me and sponsors at $45 value, an exquisite three-course dining experience at $100 value, cocktails in the courtyard, a business networking experience for $158 value, 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn. Because remember, I told y'all, most of those heavy hitters, millionaires and billionaires that I've met through LinkedIn. Right. And I made it a point to actually go meet those individuals. I invite them out for lunch. I invite them out for coffee. Right. I meet them. So I don't just, message them all day on LinkedIn. I actually invite them out somewhere. Okay. And then you're getting all access to the keynote and breakout sessions, which is valued at $1,497. Guys, this total value is $1,997, which is half of what I paid for my very first conference. Okay, I paid $4,000. But let me tell y'all, it was worth every penny. It was worth every penny. And again, this is what separates my conference from a lot of conferences because you're talking to the people who signed the front of the check, not the back of the check. Okay, you're talking to the decision makers, you're talking to the heavy hitters, you're talking to the people who signed the front of the checks, not the back of the checks. And let me show you who those individuals are. This will be my lineup at the next Access Granted, which will be in 10 days, right? You have Abraham J. Williamson, who's a venture capitalist and a tech startup attorney. You have Christopher Senegal, who's going to be headlining. He's a real estate developer and investor here in Houston, Texas, has over $100 million in active real estate development going on right now in the city. Okay, you have Dr. Shantae Williams. She's a capital activist. She's an impact and venture investor, right? She runs her own venture capital firm that has locations here in the United States as well as Africa. You have Pedro Moore, who's a venture capital advisor. He's also the CEO and founder of Funding Fuel. He's the actual advisor for Damon John on Shark Tank. How cool is that? Okay, you have Marley, who's a business structuring expert who will show you how to build your business, right? How to structure your business so that you minimize taxes and liabilities, maximize profits, protect your assets, and grow generational wealth. We have Williams D. Bragg next to him. He used to be the vice president of Regions Bank. He's moved on to another organization. He's an author, podcaster, business coach, right? Has managed accounts between 400 million and 2 billion. Okay. We have Polly. Polly is one of the best networkers I've ever met, and just understands and gets money, right? Shows you how to build wealth, shows you how to take the money that you have and make more. And then we, last but not least, we have Adonis Lockett, who's a real estate investor. He's also the director of operations for LNH Capital. LNH Capital is partnering with Delmore Capital Ventures as the official sponsors of the third annual Access Granted Conference here in Houston. Phenomenal individual. Okay. So this is a phenomenal lineup. And I'm talking about these are the individuals who have access to the capital and know other people who have access to the resources that you need. Okay. So their networks are deep. These are the type of people you need to be in proximity to if you're trying to access funding for your business. And again, not only will you meet them, you're going to get a 3-course dining experience. You get a salad, a meal, dessert, right? Coffee, tea. I mean, we're going to do it up. You're going to get cocktails in the courtyard. Okay, so cocktails in the courtyard where you get to mix and mingle with other like-minded business professionals, talk to the investors. I'm going to give you access, a 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn e-course where you're going to learn how to go after these heavy hitters, how to navigate those conversations, how to make introductions, how to invite them out. Okay, and guys, again, this is a young lady who secured a $10,000 grant at after my first conference last year. She's actually been to my first and second conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. I hope she can make this one in Houston. But she's the founder and CEO of Just Her Ride Share. And so she secured a $10,000 grant literally 1 month after attending my conference. And guess what? Today she's received like $76,000 in funding. I don't know about you, but there's a lot I can do with $76,000. Okay. This young lady, she owns her own vodka company in the Carolinas. She is now an Avra major retailer. She came to my last conference, just won a $5,000 pitch competition. Sister is on a roll. When I tell you she is doing so well, and I'm so excited for her. But again, guys, I'm not just telling you what I've done for my own clients. Let me show you what I like literally. I helped secure, I was hired by this nonprofit. I was hired by a nonprofit organization in 2020. And secured $5.4 million in grant funding for them, right? They brought me in to teach a digital literacy course, to build and teach a digital literacy program for them. And so I worked with this phenomenal grant writer here in Houston, and together we were able to get them $5.4 million in grant funding. Okay, so again, this is how it's done. Now, guys, let me ask you a question. If all this did, if you came to the Access Granted Conference, right, made your investment, if all it did was give you direct access to a network of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make a financial investment in your business, would it be worth $1,997? Let me know in the chat. Would it be worth the $1,997? If all it did was that, give you direct access to a network of wealthy individuals, you know, wealth advisors, financial experts, angel investors, venture capitalists who can show you where the funding is and how to access it. And not only that, but possibly make a financial investment in your business. Would it be worth the $1,997? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat because I've got something special for you guys. Let me know, guys. Yes or no? Would it be worth the $1,997? Excellent. So for those of you who say yes, let me show you something special I have for you. So again, my priority access tickets for my Access Granted Conference, which is happening in 10 days here in Houston, Texas at the Marriott Marquis. Remember, you're getting a welcome package from sponsors, an exquisite 3-course dining experience, cocktails in the courtyard, 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn course, and access to all the keynote and breakout sessions, right? Meaning you get to talk to all of the investors. Total value of $1,997 today, $497. So you save a total of $1,500. And not only that, let me tell you, I called and partnered with PayPal to offer a buy now, pay later plan. And guess what? You get two easy options. You can pay in four, which means you make one down payment today, then you have three more to go. And the best part, you can do it bi-weekly and there are no late fees, right? Four interest-free payments, so there's no interest, there's no late fees. If you need a little bit more time, you can do pay monthly, right? You can do zero down payment today, no sign up or late fees. So again, guys, I'm making it as extremely easy for you to get in this room. Because again, if you want to start accessing capital in your business, you got to be around the people who already have access to it. Okay, so you got two easy, right? You can do the buy now, pay later plan. You got two easy options, pay in four or pay monthly. And I'm gonna leave you with this. We've got about 5 more minutes. If you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. If you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. When I made up in my mind in 2015 that I wanted to become an international speaker. And guess what I did? I made a commitment. I invested in a conference that was $4,000. I was living in Texas at the time, and the conference was in Delaware. I flew all the way out to Delaware to attend a $4,000 conference. Y'all, and that didn't include the flight, hotel, any of that. It just included the conference. But it was one of the best investments that I've ever made because guess what? I went in 9 months, I went from a domestic speaker to an international speaker. And y'all, I literally have to get another passport. I'm literally going on passport number 4. My passport is somewhere around here, but I'm literally getting ready to do passport number 4. Okay. So again, let me play this for you from the young lady who got the $10,000 investment and who's been to my conferences twice. I want you to hear it from her.
Hey, my name is Kimberly Evans. I am the founder and CEO of Just a Rideshare, a rideshare community of women drivers and riders, providing a safe alternative rideshare experience based right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Listen, I wanted to tell you guys about an event that I attended last year called Access Granted. And guess what? It's about to happen again in March, and I am so excited. Listen, this pint sized powerhouse, Seneca Dunmore, has put on an amazing event in past and she is doing it again. So last year, and I have my notes even from last year, she everything was great from top to bottom, the camaraderie, the networking, the food was amazing, and the speakers that she brought in actually had powerful content to share. Everything from alternative business funding with Tamika Stafford, right? It was amazing, to angel investors, Padowitz, who talked about their theses and companies that they typically invest in. There were accountants there and strategists and planners, and it was just so amazing. And then Seneca herself talked about the power of crowdfunding and how you can basically use crowdfunding for anything. And it was a powerful lesson. So since the event, I have gone on to pursue and to win grant funding, which she talked a lot about that as well. And it was just so amazing. And I cannot wait to see what she has in store for us this year. So if you are in the Charlotte area or anywhere close to the Charlotte area, you do not want to miss Access Granted this year. Check it out. Follow her on LinkedIn. Look it up and be in the house because, again, I cannot wait to see what's coming this year. All right, thanks.
All right, guys. So again, you can get started today for only $4.97. Right? Remember, you're meeting a team of financial experts, of funders who have the capacity and the capital to make those resources available to you. You're getting 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn course so I can show you how to make your LinkedIn profile profitable. Right? You're getting a cocktails in the courtyard business networking experience, an exquisite 3-course dining experience, right? And a welcome package from funders, all valued at $1,997 today for only $497. And you get to uh, choose uh, two options in terms of how you want to pay. Okay, so if you can't do the pay in full, right, you can do uh, the payment plan through PayPal. Okay, you can do the buy now, pay later through PayPal. So, okay, I will go ahead and take questions now. Any questions? And again, guys, tickets are going fast. And it's funny because my last conference, I was getting a ton of men, and it looks like it's going to be even more men in the room this time again, which I absolutely love because I'm just so happy to see men showing up the way they are. So, any questions for me? Any questions that I can answer for you right now? I'll go ahead and put the countdown on. Any questions that I can answer for you at this time? Miss Ruth, Tina, any of you guys have questions? Any questions? And so this will be my third annual Access Granted Conference. My first two were hosted in Charlotte, North Carolina. JP Morgan Chase was my first official sponsor, and then US Bank. And okay, will you host future conferences? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So this year we had the first conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. Second quarter is Houston, Texas. Third quarter is New York. And then fourth quarter will be Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Any other questions for me? And let me put the link to the website if you want to make a purchase. And again, I encourage you, take advantage of the buy now, pay later option. Okay. But make sure you get in the room because wealth begets wealth. If you want to know how to access funding, you got to get in the company of the funders. You got to cultivate relationships with the funders, with the banks, right? With the investors. And that's why I put this conference together because I'm bringing you all into the same room together. Well, thank you, Miss Ann. Thank you so much. Miss Ann said you covered everything. I appreciate that, Miss Ann. Anybody else? Anybody else? If there are there any questions that I can answer for you? Any comments? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Any questions that I can answer for you guys? Thank you, Ruth J. My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your feedback. And again, if you guys if you haven't already connected with me on LinkedIn, make sure you do that. That's where I provide a ton of resources and information. So make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn. All right, guys, if there's no other questions, or if you think of something later, just send me a DM on LinkedIn, okay? But thank you so much for joining me for my funding webinar to tell you about the funding resources that are available to you. And let me leave you with this. Do not be discouraged, okay? There are plenty of funding resources out there available for your business, okay? And I want to make sure that you know about all of them. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. See you later.